Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Zero Analyst. I'm starting a new series on business Excel. I know a lot of you have been requesting for Excel series from very long time, and this is one of the really high demand skills that you should learn in no matters what role you are working, even if you are a student or even if you are working professional. This series is going to be very helpful. I will be sharing all of the knowledge that I have in Excel that I use in my day-to-day task from last 6 to 7 years. So I'm going to share each and everything. So in one series, everything is going to be covered and everything is going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel. You'll be able to download all the resources completely free and you can practice. So in this series, I will be covering from the very basics. So if you have no knowledge in Excels and if you have never used Excels, then also you will be able to kind of come up with this series. And I will be covering each and everything as I have mentioned, from the basics to the medium to the advanced level corporate Excel. So without further delay, let's go ahead and see the task that we're going to do today and the topic that you're going to learn today. So if you do not know what is Excel, Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet tools where you can analyze data and bring insight. Now it can be for any industry like maybe finance, inventory management, or maybe any data that you want to analyze. The first tool that comes to your mind must be Microsoft Excel, right? So let's go ahead and see the things that we're going to learn today. I hope you have already Excel installed in your system. If you do not have Excel, then you can get Microsoft Excel 2021 or 2024 one-time purchase, or you can get Microsoft Excel 365. So let's first see the topic that I'm going to cover today. So today first we're going to see the very basic Excel operations that we perform in day to day. I will kind of introduce with the interface of Excel. So if you have never used it, if you already know it, you can kind of skip this today video, or if you want to just quickly brush up the knowledge, then you can go through this today video. So let's see the first things that we will see the basic operation in Excel. So I will show you the menu, ribbons, and each and everything that we have in Excel. So we will learn about sheet and workbook, the difference between sheet and workbook. Then we're going to see some of the shortcut in Excel, and then we're going to see some basic aggregation function that we have in Excel. We will also see if else a logic, which is like in Python if else, but in Excel it is if logic. So if one condition, then what happens the next. And then we're going to see count if. I have also added some of the practice questions for this topic, because it is one of the important topic of Excel. Then we will hopefully see sum if. Okay, so these are the topic I'm hoping to cover in this video. If you get any new topic or anything that you want me to cover in the next video, so share in the comment box. I hope you are having really fun learning Excels. If so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed yet. If you have any doubt, queries, feel free to reach out to me in Instagram. So let's first start with the basic introductions of Excel. So here we have Excels. We will talk about each and everything here. So first you will see home, then we have insert here, then we have draw, page layout, formula. So I've never used this draw and page layout, but again, if you want to go through, you can go through it. But trust me, you will never need to know these things. If you want, you can explore. Depending on which version of Excel you're using, you may see slightly little different this menu option that I have. So I have home, insert, draw, page layout, formula, data, review, view, automate, and the developer. So mostly you will not see this on developer. You just need to go to ribbon and turn it on. So in Windows, the interface will be slightly different. You will just need to find out here called file, and then you can go to a ribbon or maybe options. And in Mac, I can click here and I can go to more commands, and then again it's going to be very simple. You go to this ribbon, and here from here you can add that developer. In fact, let me just go ahead and remove this, right, and then I will show you. So I will just remove it. Okay, you see right now the developer is gone. So I would like to edit. The reason why I'm showing it, if you are very new, so just skip this part. The reason I'm showing you is that you will have a slightly different interface. So all you just need to click on this more options or file options in Windows, and then you just select the ribbon from here. And it's like same in Windows. Once you open this toolbox, and then you can add whatever you want to edit. So I would like to add developer tools. So I select it here and I click on save. Boom. So you will see the developer tab is added. Now next, let's talk about the what are the things we have in each tab, right? So if you see in home, we have copy paste. If you copy some text or something, maybe a numbers or anything, you will have all the different type of options. We will talk about like what are the options you have when you copy something. Then we have this again, these are the regarding the same. We have format. So if you want to copy a format from one other cell to another cell, then you can use these options we will use in the futures. Then these are the basics, you already know it, like you can just change the font, you can increase the size, and you can play around with it. Then we have this border, so if you want to use some bold border in your table, so you can use it. Then we have the highlight cell, which is this one, and then the font colors, font size, and then alignment, and then this like text wrap, the merge, which is very important, so we will be using merge a lot of time. Then we have some of the formatting, so here you will be able to select different format. This is very important columns, like if you have a date, if it is showing as a number, you can change it as a short date, right? So we have time, currency, so all these things we will touch in the future. Then we have this conditional formatting. Now in conditional formatting, it's very useful in Excel. So if you have a really large data you want to organize, so you can give it different colors. Let's say you have a data of different categories, so different category you can give different colors. Or let's say you have a data of sale quantity, right? So let's say higher quantity you want to give it the green, or less quantity you want to give it kind of maybe red, so you can do that. So we can set different rules, very easy and very simple. I will show in example very soon. Then we have this some of the options, and I have never used it. I think this is giving you the different text size, right? So I don't change it from here, but if you want to play with it, you can go ahead and do it. Then we have some insert format on all this thing. So from here, next important things that we have, which is going to be this column that you see, okay, which is called filter. So you can do some filter in the table. So when you create a table, you can filter by any columns. So let's say you have a data of all the populations, you want to filter by the column called gender, right? So you can select only gender, xyz, whatever the gender you want to select. We will see this filter. Then we have sorting and ascending and sorting descending. Then we have this find and replace options, so you can find anything in a sheet and then you can replace anything, right? We will see this in maybe in future video. So let's go ahead and see what else we have, right? So we have few of the things. I don't touch it, but you will be able to see a few things here. Only the things I use sometimes is this zoom options. So you can either do it from here or you can do it from view as well. So let's say I want to set it for 125. Okay, now here is the thing, right? We have this here, maybe I will set it as a 150. So this A, B, C, D, E, you see these are the column, right? So in column you can categorize the data. Let's say in a column I want to add a name, right? And then I want to add their age, okay, maybe their phone number, maybe their email, right, maybe their address. So each cell that I am selecting, each box, this is a cell, right? So here you can add anything that you want to add, but the way we categorize it in a very simple way, if I want to talk about it, is basically the columns. So the column will have the related data of this name that you are giving, like this you can say label that you are giving. In this label we can have all the names, right? It can be anything, right? It can be the product size, it can be the colors, right? Then you will have the colors. So each row, right, this side we call a row. So the first row is the header for now, then the second row, third row, fourth row. So each row you will be adding the data, right? So the data could be anything, like here I can say that, then a name I can say that maybe Zara, right? And then I would say age 2, then phone number is 1234 something, then email is like maybe abc something gmail, right, .com, and address is something like 123 xyg, right? So this is the data that we have entered, right? This is the header, and this is the first row. Now more and more row you add, right? So more and more data is going to be. Now the reason why we are entering it in a way, if you're using Excel first time, if it is, I mean there are people, right, there are students who start learning Excel in very, I would say, in a school nowadays, but still if you are kind of if you get scared of Excels, then this is the reason I'm going in that details. So the way we enter it, we need to organize the data so that you can bring some insight, right? So let's say if I add go ahead and if I go ahead and add kind of maybe 20 more, right, maybe, correct, and I will just say control C and control V, right, or command C command V. So here we have the data organized. Let's say somebody asks us that how many kind of let's say names we have, or how many people's name we have, right? So we have to kind of go ahead and kind of check it, right? So 21, 1 minus is going to be kind of 20. Now there are some functions which we will be learning in some time. So using those functions we can count it, because what if in case this list is very very large, right? How we are going to do the count? So that's why we will be using the functions. Now this is just an example how we can kind of organize a data in Excel. So this is everything that we're doing. It's in the sheet 3, correct? So let's say I want this information in the sheet 2 or sheet 1. That is also I'm going to explain in just some time. So for, let's say for this is the informations, right? So this is the informations I want this two informations in the maybe sheet 1, right? So here I can simply go ahead and just write some functions. So sheet 3, I write it this way: sheet 3 exclamatory sign, then I will say a maybe 1 2 maybe kind of C, and it's going to be F, I think F3. Let's try. So here I just need to use equals. So whenever you want to enter any functions, you will need to use equals, right? So you can see I have the data, right? Let me just make it a little bit larger. So you see here I have the data that is coming from this sheet. Okay, so because we have till E, so I can just format it in a way like here I don't need to F E. Okay, so I'm using a dynamic range here. Okay, so if you are using simple the sheet name, and then you just need to use this exclamatory sign, and so you need to simply use this sheet name, whatever the sheet name is, then the exclamatory sign, and then the A1 to E3. What does it mean? It means that from the sheet I need A1, this is the A1, and this is the E3. So it count like this way. So any any cell you want to know the locations, how you're going to see is that, let's see, if you're clicking on this, right, what is this cell locations you want to know, then this cell location is going to be G5. Okay, so what if I want to know the location of this to this, right? So if I just highlight it, so it's going to be D. So if we counted the D8, and then it's going to be kind of G13, right? So this is how you know that, okay, this range is going to be G8 to D8 to G13, right? Now you can do this merge, and you can just write it here, call maybe D8 to G. We use this colon sign, okay, G13. Okay, so this is the range. Okay, you can just do here kind of a lot of things you can do, right? So this is the range of this selections area, right? And if you just type it anywhere else, you will be getting the data from this in that cell. Okay, all you just need to type the equals to start writing the functions. Now the functions we have used, this is called dynamic range. So this is about the sheet. So if I go ahead and save this, right, this Excel workbook that I'm saving, you see it's naming it as a book. So this is going to be as an Excel workbook. In Excel workbook we can have multiple sheet. Okay, and then you can have a multiple workbook. So each workbook is going to be one Excel file, which will be ending with XLSX. Okay, so this is the extension. Okay, now this is about the basics thing in Excel. So let's go ahead and now see some of the shortcut that you can use in Excel. So I'm going to just explain the very basic shortcut that you already know. So if in case you want to kind of you want to just copy anything in Excel, right? So you can simply say, select this range, and then you say Control C, and then we have the Control V, right? So this is going to simply copy the data that we have. Okay, now I'll just give you an example why I'm showing this one. Okay, let me just select this and maybe highlight it with something. Okay, so here I have this data in bright colors, and I want to just copy this. Okay, Control C, and if I just use a Control V here, you see that I have got this data same as it is, right? But what if I don't need this formatting, right? What if I don't need this formatting? So in that case, you select again Control C, and then you can simply go ahead and say right click, and you have options of pasting it, which is called paste, and paste special, and here you can have a paste as a value. So if you say paste as a value, then it's going to just put the data in all this cell from here to here in this range, and then you will not have this color formatting. Okay, so you just need to say paste as value, or you just need to press shift control shift V. Okay, so I'll select paste as a value. This is about copy pasting that we have in Excel. Now there are a lot of other options you have. You can go here and you can see all the options that we have. Paste as a link. So what does it mean, right? Let me just go ahead and kind of open a new workbook, okay, just to explain this topic to you. I'll just increase it to 150. Okay, now here let's say I want the informations. This is, I'm in the new workbook, which is book 7. I want the informations which is in the another workbook that I have, right? So for that I will just go ahead and kind of go to that workbook. So let me go to that workbook, and which is 6, and then let's say I want these things. Okay, from these things I will just select this 3 columns, the header and 2 columns. So I will say Control C to copy it, and here I want to paste it, right? So you can simply say Control V, right? If you say Control V, it's simply getting the data from that sheet, right? So this is normal pasting, right? We have not done special pasting, otherwise you would not see the colors. The second way, I can just select here and I can go ahead and say paste as a value, right? So this time I don't see the formatting. The third way is going to be right click and you can say paste as a link. So paste as a link. Okay, so paste link. Okay, so right now you see, okay, something is happening. Now I'll show you the reason why I'm explaining this. Okay, so here every cell that you see, okay, it is kind of referencing from another book, and the way you write it is kind of in this square bracket. You write the book name, which is the basically the file name, and then you just use which sheet, and then you use the range. So sheet and range remain the same, and then kind of use the file name. So it kind of here works like cell by cell. So here this is how it is working. Now the interesting thing is that if something is changed in that sheet, okay, you will see that it will change here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and change the first row name in that sheet, and we will come back here and we will see what happens. Okay, so let's say I will just set it as Nazir. Okay, and let's say 28. These are the things I have changed. Now let's go back to that sheet, which is going to be our sheet number, workbook number 7. Oops. So you can see here it has changed, the name has changed here. Okay, because this is a linked, this is dynamically linked with our the second workbook, right, the first workbook. Okay, so this is the difference based on the requirements. Sometimes let's say in one workbook you want to get the data which is linked with another workbook live. That's where you can use this functions which is called link. Okay, so I think this is about the copy paste, and you can explore more and see how it works. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the real data and see how to kind of analyze the data, right? So as long as we go, we will learn more and more topic. I would want to keep today's session is very basics, so that you can kind of practice and kind of try to create some data by yourself, try to save it, try to kind of create some link, and then see how it works. Okay, now I'm on a new data, which is you can see it here. It's kind of seems like some of the expenses and their details. You will be able to download this data from the video descriptions, and you will be able to complete the task that I'm going to do in this data set. And I'm also going to give you a practice data set which you can download from the video descriptions. So we have the data which is organized. Now usually you will not get the data very organized. I kept this data very simple and organized so that you don't get confused, right? So the first thing I would like to know is that how many the total transactions we have. Okay, so one thing I would like to quickly show you is that something called auto fit. So all you just need to do is that you can click on this, and you see it here. You click on this and you just need to double click on it. Okay, as soon as you double click on it, it will auto adjust each and every column that you see. Okay, this way, and it will also adjust to the default with a default height of each of the row, and the column is going to be the based on the text that we have. If one text is very large, something like this, okay, and if I have a text like this, and if I just do a auto fit. So make sure to click on only this, between A and B, this you see the arrow. When you drag your mouse here, you will just double click on it, and you see this time it has adjusted till here because we have the data till here. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and go back and okay, all right, so now we have this data which is kind of auto adjusted, the width and the height. And next I would want to know how many total transactions are there, right? So if you see, we have from here to here, which is 16 transactions, right? But one row is the header, so it's going to be kind of 15 transactions. Now, very basic functions, if you have never used Excel, then you must know that there is a two-way we can do the sum. Okay, so all you just need to use this equal sign to start writing your functions or formula. We call it formula in Excels, but I'm kind of used to functions, so I usually call it functions. When I say functions, don't get confused. Functions means just the same as formula. So if I say equals, and then let's say I want to know the sum of these two. We will come back to the total count, but for now, let's say I want to do sum of these two things. So it's like 12,000 and 1,500, right? So I select this plus, and I can use the simple plus, and then I select the second cell. So this is the simple arithmetic functions that we have in Excel. So you can use arithmetic operators like plus, minus, this. Okay, now this is just the arithmetic operators. So this is one way you enter directly the operator and select the cell in this cell. The second way is that if you click on it, then you have this fx box, which is basically the functions box. Here you can enter the function. So let's say this time I want to know the same thing, but I would enter it by myself. So I will select that C. So why I'm using C, and now you know that, because if in case we need this, which is this one, C2, so it's going to be C2, right? So we'll say C2, then I'm using a plus, then I will say C3, right? So these two things, this two cell, I want to know the sum. So it's like the same result I have it, right? If you want subtraction, then you would do the same, and so on, so on, right? This is the one way. The second way, we would want to know if in case we want to do a sum of this two cell, what is the second way, right? We have used just simple arithmetic operators that we have. The second way, we can simply use equals to kind of start writing our own formula or functions. Then we have some built-in functions in Excel, like we have sum, then we have count, which I will come in some time. Okay, and then we have kind of average. Okay, these are some basic functions we have, which is created by someone else maybe, and it kind of follows the same rules. Okay, so we can simply say sum, and whenever you write any functions, right, you see, as soon as the way I write it, I select sum. Even if you type s, you see all the functions available, right? So we can just go ahead and say sum, and you can simply use the tab, and you get the different argument that it need these functions to kind of give you an output. So it's saying, hey, number one. So number one, basically it is asking for us to select a cell, right? Or a range, so that we can kind of it can gives you the sum, right? So we would say C3. Either you kind of enter it, or you can simply click on that cell. Okay, see, we are inside these functions. It is not closed yet. When it will close, we will need to close this parenthesis. So we go here, and then we simply kind of, this time we don't need to use the arithmetic operators like plus, minus. You just need to use the comma, right? So one way we can use a comma or the semicolon. So if I say comma, then it is saying, hey, what else cell you want to do sum? So we select the second one. Okay, and then we close the bracket. If in case you do not close the bracket, you will be getting a warning, and by default automatically sometime Excel will kind of identify what is the thing you missed, and Excel will edit. I'll just show that in some time. So I will just close the parenthesis manually, and I say enter. I'm getting the same result. Okay, let's do one more time. So make sure whatever I'm doing, if you are new to Excel, try to kind of do each and everything along with me, so that kind of you get more understanding of what is going on here, right? And this is going to be very, very useful when you will write complex functions in Excel, once you are familiar with the basic functions. So we'll go ahead and say sum, sum, and then I would just go ahead and kind of select this, then I would say comma and select this, right? This time I will not put the n parenthesis. Let's see what happens. Okay, See, you see Excel has automatically entered it because it's a very basic functions. Excel consider that okay, you may missed it, you may forgot to kind of close the parenthesis, so it has entered it automatically. Usually sometime you will be getting some extra warning and then it will kind of edit, or you need to kind of re-verify it and then edit by yourself. Okay, that is about the sum. Now you got some idea, right? What if we want to do sum from here to here, right? So we can simply go ahead and type here, or we can do it here, right? So here, let's say I want to know the total sum of the spend that we have done, right? I mean, I have done. So for that, I can simply say sum. And the second way I would doing is that I can simply select and drag it, right? You see. So while you are selecting and dragging it, try to learn, okay, the way Excel is entering this range, which is C2 colon C16. What does it mean? It means from C2 to C16, right? So this is what it means. When you see this column, it means it is starting from the first point on the cell, and it is ending at the second cell, right? When we have a column like this, it is starting from here to here. I will also give an example. So we can just go ahead and say close, and you see this time I'm getting the same, right? So total. What if I want to do it by manually by myself, right? So I will say sum, and then I would say C2 to C16, right? You see, as soon as I'm entering, by default it is kind of selecting that range, right? So this is how we know, okay, I'm entering the right. If in case I miss something, it's going to give me an error. Okay, so let me close it. We have it this way. Okay, so this is the way you enter functions, and you can get output, right? So we have the result here. Okay, so this is the one thing. And let's go ahead and now move to the count, right? So here we have this data, and let's say I want to know how many transactions I have done, right? So how do I know? If in case, now see, I missed one point here. Okay, why we will not use this drag like this inside the function? Because sometimes you will be getting error, sometimes some data will be deleted mistakenly, it will copy from here to here. So it is better to enter the range. So the way you can find out the range, you can simply click on any cell, and you see using this arrow you can kind of hover over and kind of navigate through the entire sheet, right? If in case it doesn't work, there's a name block sign you have in your keyboard. Just press that and then it will work. Okay, so now you just need to press Control and down arrow, it goes to the last. No matter if it's a million row cell, within 1 second it goes to the last, and you know, okay, we are in the C16. So this is the one way. So the second way, if you click on this Control and the right arrow, it goes to the last column, and left arrow, it goes to the first column. Okay, one more shortcut I would want to give it to you. If in case you want to select from this to this in kind of you don't want to navigate, but you want to select this entire, right? What do you do? You need to simply press Control Shift and then down arrow. Okay, everything is selected in one go. The second way to select the entire sheet is going to be just navigate to the corner, then Control Shift right down. Okay, it's Control Shift right down to select everything. Sometimes we want to copy everything, right? And we want to kind of go to a maybe new range, and maybe we want to put it here, right? So the way we can navigate is like simple: Control Shift down, Control Shift right and down to kind of select everything. Okay, Control Z to kind of kind of undo the task. You also have this redo and undo here. Okay, so you can kind of go through that. All right, so we learn about the sum. Okay, try to do some more practice, try to come up with some of your own data. You can use AI like ChatGPT to create some test data and try to kind of do different sum to see how it is working. So this is done. Now let's go ahead and see the questions, which is how many total transactions we have. Now here I can see it's just 15 because we have a small data data set. What if the data is very large? You will not be able to kind of see it manually. What if there are some blanks or something like that, right? Now there is a multiple way you can find out the count. Okay, so let's first go ahead and see the way we can see the count. You first need to understand what you're looking for. So from here we are looking for the count, right? So each row from here to here, it's just one count, right? That means one transactions. This line, second transactions, right? So we have two transactions still here. So every row is only one transactions, right? So the way we can do it is very simple. You can simply say count, and now here we have count, right? So if I say count and then I use this parenthesis, and then I can simply select from this to this. Okay, and I close the bracket, I get the result 15, which is correct. Okay, it is start from A2 and end at A16. Okay, let's go and let's see what if we do not have the number data, because this is a number data. That's the reason you're getting a right count. What if we have just something data like this? We don't have the serial number. Okay, I will just minus it, and you see right now I'm getting 0. Obviously I'm getting a reference error, so let me just fix that. Let's say I would want the count from A2 to, oops, page up, A2 to A16. Okay, you see I'm getting 0. Okay, why I'm getting 0? Because this count function that we have, it doesn't count a non-number cell. Okay, I'll just explain with an example. Let me just get the data back. Okay, so this cell, the data that you see, it's a number data. Okay, but this is a text and data. So if in case we want to give an example, I would say that this count, if you use a count functions on it, you will be getting a right number, because we have this in this cell, we have numbers, right? This is 1 2 3. This is a number data types, but this rent, electricity, these are text. Okay, so this count functions we have, it doesn't count the text type cell. If in case any cell that has text data, it is not going to count that. Okay, so this is the reason we are getting 0 here. So again, if in case you want to know, I will just type it count, and then I select this to this. Okay, and you can see that it's not giving me anything. We are getting 0. So you may get confused why I'm getting 0. The reason is this count functions doesn't count the non-number cell. If in case the cell that has a number, then only you will be getting the right result. If in case the cell doesn't have a number, you will not get the right result. Then what do you do, right? How do I know that what is the total transactions if in case I have this as a non-number cell, right? And the data is non-number in that cell. So that's the reason we have something called count A. Okay, so you select count A, and if I use this range, you will see it's going to kind of give me the count right now. Okay, so better thing to use count A. The reason is that in count A, even if you have a text and number, okay, let's say I have like here 1, here 2, here 3, still I'm getting 15. So count A basically says that it is going to count a cell which is non-empty. So that means if we have anything in the cell, unless it is empty, it is going to count. Okay, so here right now we have text and number, so we are getting 15, right? What if I just remove this two cell information from this two cell? Right now you see I am having 13, because it's simply counting from here to here how many cell has something in the cell. If in case it doesn't have anything, these two are excluded, right? So these two are not counted right now. Okay, so same way, if you see here if I just remove maybe 2 and 3, and I just add maybe A, B, okay, you see this functions, it is still same. It should count from A2 to kind of A16, but it is kind of telling us that there are only 13 number we have, like 13 count we have, because the correct result is that the reason is that we do not it doesn't see this A and B, because these are not number cell. Okay, same way if I just delete something, okay, this is the empty cell, so it's not counting this one as well. So this and this 3 cell it is ignoring. The reason why it is ignoring, because these are non-number cell. Any cell that doesn't have number, it's not going to count by this count functions. So it is better to use count A. Most of the time I use count A. Now what if in case you want to know how many this blanks are there? Okay, so that's a question, right? If in case you want to know how many blanks are there, if you have really large data, you want to know in this column how many blanks are there. So what is the function you should use? Now I will leave that to you. You can do the research and write down in the comment box what do you think the correct functions is going to do. Find out the blanks, let's say in this cell. I want to know how many blanks are there, right? So these are the blanks. I see 2, but what if the data I have, which is a million number of rows, right? Millions of rows we have. So how I'm going to find out how many blanks are there? Now I want you to write down 2 approach of finding these blanks. Okay, so one is going to be the functions, and what is going to be the second approach that you can find out. And if you already know, you can write down in the comment box. I would like to reply. Whoever is correct, I will reply. Okay, so this is done. Let's go ahead and put it back. Okay, so you have learned so far, you have learned count, you have learned about count A. Okay, You have learned about sum. So 3 functions we have learned. Last functions that we have from the basic aggregation, which is going to be average. Now I hope you already know what is average, right? So I'm sure everyone knows what is average. We want to know the average sales, average spend price. So that we have. So average is going to be simple, right? Say we want to know the average of these 3. So it's going to be 12,000, then 5,000, which is kind of 17,000. Then we have 1,500, which is going to be kind of 18,500. So the average is going to be kind of 6,000, and then I think 500 divided by 3, which is going to be kind of 150, 165 something, right? So it's going to be kind of 6,165, right? So this is going to be the average. So in average we do a sum, and then we divide by kind of the number of items that we have, right? So two way we can find out the average. I'm going to show one way, which is going to be the simply using the functions. So we use average, and then we select this 3. Okay, so 6,166, right? So because of this it's going to 6666, right? You know that, because 500 divided by 100 divided by 3, it's the same result. So here we have 6166, right? So this is absolutely correct. Now I would want to know the entire average. So we would simply go ahead and say C16, right? C16, and we have the average spend, which is 2326 is the average spend. Okay, so we have learned about the average. The second way I would want you to write down, how do we find average without using any function? This is your task, right? How we find average without using equals average formula. Okay, without using this formula, how do you find the average, right? So this is what your task. Okay, you would need to find out this. I'm going to add it in the task list. Okay, you need to write down how do we do that. You cannot use this average. Okay, either you do it manually, or what is the logic you can come up with, and this is how you would kind of use your mind, and you will come up with your solutions, and this is where you would kind of think and you would learn, right? So this is where you would learn problem solving. Okay, so I will try to come up with more and more realistic example from the next session, so that you can learn more. Okay, so we have learned average. Next, before I miss, we have something called mean, and we have max. Okay, so let's try to see. We have a simple question. We want to know what is the minimum amount we have spent and the maximum amount, right? So by the name you already understood. So we simply need to say min, oops, and then we select this range. Okay, so 3999, and then we say max, and then we select this range. Okay, it's going to be kind of the maximum, which is 12,000, and the minimum is 3999. Okay, now if in case we want to kind of verify it, okay, so how do we verify it? Because it's like the data is not organized, right? So what we can do is that we can select the header, and then here you have this filter options, or you can go to this data and you will have this filter options. Okay, so you will just select the filter options here, or you can select from the data. I will select from here, or you can use a Control Shift L. Okay, for kind of Mac, it's going to be Command Shift, I think Command Shift K, and for Windows Control Shift L. Okay, so I would simply use it from here. This time you see this little tiny icon that is showing. Okay, this is a filterable. Okay, now you'll notice something difference. When I apply a filter, it's going to kind of give it a kind of tick, something like it. You know that okay, filter is applied. So let's first go ahead and click here. I'm not going to apply any filter right now, but I will just click here, and this time I have two options: ascending and descending sorting. Okay, sorting means it's going to sort the data. Right now the data is not sorted, but it's going to sort the data either large to small or small to large. So A to Z, which is this one, ascending is like small to large, like A to kind of Z, and if it is descending, then large to small. If it is a number, large to small. If it is kind of text, then A to Z. This is the template that this is the format it's going to use. This time we have number, then it's going to this sorting this way. You need to make sure that this entire column has the same type of data. It's not like here we have number, then we have text, right? This is not going to work then. So we say that okay, ascending. As soon as we do ascending, you see this is the minimum 1399, and the maximum one would be obviously is going to be the last one, or you can say descending to see the maximum one, which is 12,000. So this is how we verify, okay, what we are doing is correct using this min and max. Now interesting thing is that this min and max also works with the date, okay. So maybe we will talk about that in some other kind of sessions, where we will talk about how we can find out the minimum dates or maximum dates and when it is useful, when we will learn about the date functions. So this is about the sorting. Now let's talk about the filter quickly, right? Let's say I want to see only the data which are the transaction that is done by maybe something called cash, okay. So I want to only see those transactions. I do not want to see rest of the transactions. So you have this filter enable. You can simply click on this filter icon, and you will see, notice that it'll be a little different, okay. I unselect everything. When you select everything, basically everything is selected. When you unselect everything, that means nothing is selected, right? And then you can say, hey, I just want to select this cache, okay. As soon as you select, you see I only have this kind of 4 row. These are the transactions that is done by using cache, okay. If you need more, then you can select maybe bank transfer. So now I have both the conditions fulfill kind of data, where I have either bank transfer or either cash, okay. So this is how the filter works. Now why it is useful, right? You can simply do a kind of total, right, that is done by the cash or the bank or both. You can simply say, I just want to see the card. So it's card selected, we can select the cash, and then you can do a total, right? As soon as you just hover here, you see by default you have the sum here. You can just right click on it, okay. You have the count, you can have the average, okay. So these are some statistic that you are getting based on your selections, okay. If you select from here to here, you will be getting count, because these are numbers, these are text, okay. This is the numbers, okay. So this is just some of the statistic that you are getting when you are selecting the data. So right now you see this is looking different, the icon, and this is looking different. This is, you see a filter icon, it means that some filter that is applied, okay. So if somebody asks, hey, how many spend transactions we have, so if you directly come here and say, hey, I think we have 1 2 3 4 5 transactions, right? So this is incorrect. Why? Because somebody has applied filter in your sheet. So it is better to remove all the filters before you tell that how many transactions we have, right? So because that's going to be incorrect if you just say it's kind of 5. So you select this and you kind of go ahead and say that, okay, I would like to kind of disable all the filters. So you just need to select it and clear all filters you have up here, or you can select all, okay, clear all filters, or you can do it from here as well, okay. The second way is that you select this, the entire, and you can simply say Control Shift L to kind of unfilter it, or you say here clear everything. So it's going to kind of clear the filters, right? You select this filter and you just need to click the filter one more time, okay. If in case you do not want the filter, or if you just want the filter, then you can simply go ahead and select the filter again, okay. Okay, I think this is about how we can filter and unfilter, and there are a lot of functions are there. Let's say I want to only filter out the data where the transaction is, let's say, more than 2000, okay. I want to only filter those data where the transaction is more than 2000. So how do you do? So either you go ahead and simply click on it, and then you have this different options, okay. You can filter by colors, if in case there are some colors. You can filter by this which is called this here. You can see the sorry, the color is here, okay. This is the ascending and descending color. Here you have some other options, okay. You select here, which is called choose one. That means you can use some pre-built filter options, okay. We say that, okay, equals, you already know, if I say equals, that means all the transactions that are 12,000 I want to see that, okay. Then I can use the equals. I need to just give the exact thing, okay. If it is a text, I can say that all the transaction that is by card I want to see that, then it's going to kind of give me that, okay. So it's going to filter based on the exact condition that you will put it here. I want to say greater than, okay, greater than 2000, okay, greater than 2000. I want to see all the transaction that is greater than 2000. See, as soon as I enter it, it's kind of filtering that those data which is fulfilling this, right? You can see it, right? Same way we can have less than 2000. You can see these are the less than 2000, okay. Now here you can add more conditions, okay. So this is just one conditions. Then let's say you are saying, okay, less than 2000, okay, but greater than, now this will be a little complex. I do not want you to confuse you in the very first day. greater than 1000. Okay, let's see what happens. 1000, you see. Right now we are using two condition, and means it's simple. You just don't need to get confused. Just think about two conditions we are asking. One is either it must be less than 2000 and the same amount must be greater than 1000. So this is the reason we're using AND. So two conditions have to fulfill by any transaction that you want to show. Okay, so this is about the filter. You can explore more options here. A lot of things are there, like you can say between. Let's say I would want to say I want to know between 1000 and kind of 2000. It's kind of same, but here it will kind of include the point. Even if it's something with 1000, that is included. If in case it is kind of 2000, that is included. Where it is greater than less than, it will not include. Okay, then we have top 10, bottom 10, and below average, and then above average. Now these are some of the additional options you have because of the number column. If in case we want to know the filter by non-number columns, you will have the filter little bit different because it's not a number column. So you can simply select maybe equals, does not equals, and then begin with, basically anything that begin with bus. I want to see that, right? Begins with, I can say simply bus, you see. Okay, so based on the text, you have a different filters based on what data you have. Okay, I will say clear all. All right, let's go ahead and now see our next functions, which is going to be something really interesting. That's going to be something called sum if. Okay, so we're going to now see something called sum if, and then we will see count. Okay, other than that, we will see one logic which is called if. So let's start with the if. Okay, so that it's going to be easy for you. So I want to kind of create a new column here. Okay, so I would want to say that if in case the transactions amount is greater than 1000, I want to say that it's kind of expensive. Okay, expensive. Else I want to say kind of not expensive. Okay, now what is the conditions? The condition is that if the transaction that we have done, which is kind of more than 1000, okay, so that means it's an expensive purchase. We can say expensive purchase or non-expensive purchase. Okay, now how do you think we can achieve it? And then we can see how many expensive purchase we have, how many non-expensive purchase we have, right? I hope you got the questions correctly. Just write it down. We want to say that any transaction that is more than 1000, that's kind of expensive purchase. Any transaction that is less than 1000, it's non-expensive purchase. So to achieve something like this conditions, so every row will go through a condition. Okay, either it's going to be in the category of expensive or non-expensive, right? Because we need to build the logic properly. So here either this is going to be what? This is going to be 12,000, so it's going to be expensive, right? And this is going to be 5,000, so it's also expensive. So this is going to be expensive. This is going to be, this is going to also expensive, right? Most probably till everything is expensive here seems, but this one is non-expensive because it's less than 1000, right? Non-expensive. Now you can write it down by yourself. It's going to take ages, right? What if you have a data of, let's say, 50,000, right? You cannot go through everything. So this is the reason we will need to build a function or a logic that can does it automatically. Okay, so what you can do is that here you can simply use something called if. Now anyone who knows Python, SQL, you already know this, how it works. So mostly this is simple, which is you will be giving a condition. If the condition is true, there is a result that you mention. If the condition is false, then there is a result that you need to mention. So two side, true side, false side. Okay, so either my name can be Nazir or either my name cannot be Nazir, right? Only the two things. It cannot be the third thing. Either it is true, either it is false. So we need to build a logic in a way, right? So either let's say I am from India or I am not from India, right? There can be two things. Either it's true or either false. Just maybe as some random example. So let's go ahead and say if we give a parenthesis, and here you see every function that you write. I mean, I will never remember functions. I will always forget functions in Excel. I mean, in everyone does, right? Because you have this, kind of tips of each functions, like the what need to use. So I kind of read it here, and then I try to see, okay, so I need to put the condition. Then I need to see what is true condition once the condition is true, and then what is false. And it goes line by line. It doesn't go from here to here or here to here, right? So don't get confused whenever you are using any condition, it always applies in the same row when you're using if, right? When you're using count, so everything in the same row, unless if you're using this way, right, for the count. But for if, it is always going to be in the same row. So we are going to say if, then what is the condition that you want to say? I want to check this column, right? I don't want to check if it is more than 1000 in this column, or this column in this column, but in this column I have the number. So here I can say that, hey, if this is kind of greater than 1000, okay, then see, as soon I'm saying if C2 is greater than 1000, C2 means this column value, this cell value is greater than 1000, then I just need to give a comma to come to this argument. Okay, all this argument we need to give it, because these are kind of not mandatory, but we have to give it, right, so that we can know what we need to output. So we are saying if C2 is greater than 1000, what do you want to say? We want to give a text called expensive. Now if I just write expensive like this, it's going to give me an error. Okay, you see I'm getting some name error, because this expensive is not a variable, so it's not able to identify it. Okay, so whenever you want to use some text in Excel, you have to use this double quotes, and then you write the text, and then you need to use double quotes. Same as like in Python. But in Python you can use single quotes as well. In any programming language, you need to always put the text inside the quotes. Okay, this is how things works. Now here we use double quotes, which is mandatory. So I'm saying comma, then I'm saying okay, non-expensive. Now you will be getting confused here, you will forget it. So try to do as many as practice you can do for this if. Okay, very simple. If the condition is true, then this, else this. So it's going to check the condition for this row, and either it will put here expensive or non-expensive. That's it. So we simply say enter, and you see it is saying expensive. So this is fine. Now we want to do it for this one. I can simply go ahead and drag it, or I can just write again and again and again and again as like robot. So instead of that, we can use simply click and drag. Okay, you see you need to click on this the corner that you see there. You will see this usually your arrow is like this. As soon as you hover here, it's like a little darker, so you just kind of drag it this way. Okay, this is the one way. Or you can simply kind of simply say Control C, and then you can simply select Control B. Okay, this is the second way. So it depends whichever the way you want to do it. Okay, so this is how you do it. Or if you just hover here in the corner and double click on it, the left side, double click. Okay, you see it's kind of showing it here. Okay, for everything, the entire data sets for 16 a row, we have the thing. So here it's like 600, so non-expensive. If I just change it to kind of, let's say 899, sorry, 899, it's showing non-expensive. Okay, now if I just change 999, it's showing non-expensive. Okay, now you need to tell me one thing. What if the transactions I have for 1000, what is going to be here? Okay, so and let me do one thing. Okay, let me just write it down 1000 here, and let's see. Okay, let me show you. See, I'm mentioning 1000 and it is telling that it is non-expensive. You need to remember that we have used the function which check if it is greater than 1000. Now if you do not know less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equals to, you need to learn this logical operator. These are the very useful operator which will be used in everywhere. I'm sure you already know it, but again, just to check, if you get confused, then just try to do some practice. Okay, so here 1000 means non-expensive because it's not, 1000 is not greater than 1000, correct? What if I change the logic here, right? What if I change the logic here? It's kind of greater than, equals to, then it's expensive, because I'm saying, hey, either it is 1000 or greater than that, then it is expensive. And earlier it was kind of only greater than 1000, right? So this is how we can define the logic properly. If it is kind of, you want the 1000 to be considered as expensive and anything more than that is expensive, then it's kind of this. Okay, now I would want to give you a task here. The task is going to be find out whatever the transactions we have done which is less than 1000 is going to be kind of which is going to be non-expensive, and anything that is 1000 or more than 1000 till 2000. Okay, more than 1000 and less than 2000, let's define it properly. Less than 2000, that's going to be normal. Anything more than 2000 or equals to 2000, it's going to be expensive. So you need to write down what is going to be your functions. Okay, and I'm just going to name it, call maybe transactions type. Okay, let's, yeah, I think this is the one, transaction type. Okay, now I want you to write the function that I have asked, right? I will just go ahead and kind of put the task here, which will be kind of, maybe I will just mention it here. Okay, let me just do merge rep. Okay, so here I will just say that what is the question: each transactions as a non-expensive if transactions amount is less than 1000, if trans amount is 1000 or less than 2000, then it's normal, else expensive. Now I want you to write down this logic by yourself. This is very important concept. Trust me, if you do not practice, you would get confused. And even if you are getting confused, it is fine, it is okay to get confused. But if you try, and if you practice, you would learn one day. And trust me, this question, the same type of question was given to me like maybe 1 or 2 years back. I was giving an interview, and I was asked this type of problems. Maybe data set was different, but this type of logic I had to build. Okay, so even if you are a very high experience in maybe excels, or maybe data analysis, or maybe hr analyst, or whatever you have, this is the questions you may expect in interview. It's not about just the interview, learning for interview here, it's about learning for solving problems. Okay, you can categorize the data based on different category, right, based on the logic. So try to solve it and maybe come up with some more problems based on this data, and then try to solve those problems as well. Okay, so this is the task that I would leave it to you, and I would want you to solve this. Okay, okay, perfect. I would just put it little red. Okay, so this is the task. Let's say task 2. This is the task 2. We have task 1, which is here, right? Task 1, I would better write it down here, maybe task 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and say this is the task 1, this is the task 2, and let's go ahead and select this 2. Okay, perfect. Now let's see what else we have pending. Okay, now let's go ahead and see 2 more topic, which is going to be SUMIF and COUNTIF, and that's where we will wrap up for today. I do not want to make the first session very long. I would want you to kind of watch this video at least 2 times and try to solve all the problems, and then I will be giving you 5 problems. Solve those 5 problems as well in a new data set, so that your all this concept is going to be very clear. Okay, and then again, maybe after 1 or 2 weeks, you can just re-practice, re-watch, and resolve this problem so that you would master. Okay, let's go and let's see now. Let's build some problems based on this. Okay, so let's first see what is a SUMIF. Okay, so let's say I just want to know what is the total amount we spend by, let's say, UPI. Okay, so for many of you who do not know what is UPI, it's kind of a unified payment system in India. So same as like NFS, we kind of use it, right? So how many, sorry, not how many, how much amount we spend, where we have done the payment using this payment method is this UPI, right? So for that, how do I know, right? So one way you kind of filter it, which I have shown you earlier, right? And then you do a sum here, and it tells, okay, we have spent 5200, right? Now if you have really large data, it's not a best practice, right? You cannot filter it. So what is the best way, right? If in case you write a function here, and maybe that's going to give you the total transactions, right? So what do you do? So here I would want to kind of know the total transactions. Okay, so maybe I will do it here. Okay, total UPI Okay, okay, total UPI transactions I want to know. Now the way we can do it instead of just filtering and then doing sum manually is kind of this way. Okay, we have something called sum if. Okay, so we say sum if, and that means we're saying sum, that means do sum if a condition is fulfilled. Then we build a condition something like this. Okay, we say semicolon, and first you need to understand, see, as soon as you write the formula you would need to read this. Okay, and then you would need to kind of bring the logic. It's not like that logic you will remember by default. I do also forget. You just need to read what is it is asking, and then you give the same thing. Range, you know the range. Criteria is kind of the criteria, and then the sum range. Now here it is little different, you may get confused. Okay, so it's saying a range means the sum range, and then criteria means like what is the conditions you want to check, and then the range means the data range, and then the criteria means what exactly criteria you want to check in that range, and then the sum range. So it is little different, you may get confused when we will talk about COUNTIF. Okay, but for now, you see, I told you I also get I also forget sometime, right? So it's okay, but as soon as you kind of see it, you should know it. Or if you type it one incorrect, then you kind of redo it, and then you know, okay, yeah, this is what it does. So range, criteria, so in this range we check this criteria, and then if this match, then we do the sum. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how we can build it. So we say range, and we are going to select the range where we want to check the criteria in which column. Not this column, not this column. These two are important column. This is our output column. From here we will do the sum, but here we will check the UPI. So UPI, right? So this way. So I would just select like this first of all. Okay, I'm selecting the range. One more. Then I give a comma to go to the next argument, and then it's saying criteria. What do you want to check? So if I say UPI, it's not going to work because I'm trying to compare in this range with this text. Every text that you use in functions or formula in Excel, you need to use this double quotes. Okay, if it is number, that's great. If it is not number, otherwise Excel will think, okay, it's a function, okay, it's a formula. So either you use a double quotes if in case it's simple text that you want to check. So we are saying, okay, from E2 to E16, check if UPI is found. Okay, what need to be done if UPI is found? Then we give a comma, and then it is asking sum range. See, both are range, right? But as soon as we see sum range, we should understand here we would need to give the sum range. Okay, you need to make sure that both the data that you have selected, it is from the same row to same row. It's not like the sum is starting from here, condition is starting from here, then you will not be getting the right result. And we close the bracket, we get the answer 5200, right? So now this is very confusing. Okay, trust me, this is very confusing. Try to solve as many as problems you can in sum if. Okay, so that this is going to be clear. And the second way to remember, as I said, that you have to kind of read and then see what it is asking and then give it, do mistake and then learn, and then kind of you would kind of master it, right? So we got to know, okay, we have 5200, which is correct by the UPI. You want to check it manually. Let's say I highlight this one, and then I highlight this one, then I highlight this one, then I highlight this too. Okay, so if somebody asks, hey, how much how much money we have spent using UPI, right? So you kind of start counting 1000, then you count like 1500, 2500, then you count like 1900 and 700, which is going to be kind of 1600, and then 1100, that's going to be kind of somewhere around 2700, and then you can kind of sum up with this 1500 and the 1000, which is going to be 5200, right? So you do it this way, right? You are not going to sum this, right? Because these are the transactions not fulfilling your conditions. So either you do it manually like this, ignoring this, or you can use a functions which is super simple, something called sum if. Okay, so this is the one way. Now I would give you I would request you to kind of solve as many as problems you can. You can solve a problem called we would want to know, let's say, all the total, which is expensive purchase that we have done, right? What is the total expensive purchase we have done? One problem, what is the total normal purchase we have done? You know the earlier conditions. And then what is the non expensive purchase we have done, right? These are the three tasks. You can write it down and you can kind of solve. So let's say we would want to now see how many transactions we have done using UPI. Okay, it's the same, but right now we do not want to see the total amount that we spend, but we want to see how many transactions we have done. Okay, so very simple, how many transactions we have done using UPI payment. Okay, UPI payment system. So this time it's very clear, we do not want to do a sum, we just want to see the count. So 1 2 3 4 5. But what if you have the data is very large, you cannot go and count manually. So that's where we have this count if. So by the name you need to remember it. When somebody asks you something like maybe the total count of based on some conditions, then you use count if it is count in your mind, it is coming, you are very sure it is count if it is something like sum, then it is sum if it is average, then if it is average if. Logic remains same, you need to read the functions and then give all the argument as it is asking, right? So we say count, then we say if. Okay, as soon as you type count, you can see all the type of count. We have this count if here, and then we select the range and the criteria. So here you see two only argument right now we have, and both are mandatory, and that's the reason they are not in the brackets. If you miss one, you will be getting error. So it's saying range and criteria. Range means where you want to check, and criteria means what you want to check. Like if you are, remember when I was counting how many transactions we have done using UPI, I was counting in this column, right? 1 because it is UPI, 2 it is UPI, right? I'm not counting on this column, this column, this column, right? This is my range right now. So in this array I am counting. Now if you are you are getting now kind of beginner level to medium level of Excel, so you would learn more things like called array. So array means starting, you can say range, it's a different name called array. So from here to here it's a one column array. From here to here it's kind of all this column like 5 to 6 column array. So array means the same as like range. So we are saying count if, and we say okay from here to here. See, even I'm selecting from here to here everything, it is not going to kind of count all, because it is going to kind of check this criteria that I will put, which is called UPI. What if I put UPI like this? Let's see what happens. Okay, so even if you are putting UPI like this, still it is counting. So Excel is a smart. Okay, so you see, even if I am putting in a lowercase, it is still try to kind of find it, and it is kind of giving me the exact result, which is 5. But I will just change it to UPI. Okay, so we are having 5, which is correct. So now we would want to find out how many, let's say, non-expensive transactions we have done. So how do you do it? So again, count if. Okay, and then we kind of go ahead and select this column, and then we can go ahead and say that what do you want to check? Non-expensive. Okay, 7. Okay, all right, so I think this is it for today, and in the next video we will continue from here, and I will come up with some more realistic example and the realistic data set. You are going to get a practice data set with some practice problems. Try to solve it, and try to solve all the problems that we have solved in the video throughout the video. So if you get any doubt with any of the questions, any of the tasks, feel free to reach out to me in Instagram, and you can maybe send me a message, or you can write in the comment box. You can help each other if you learned it. Let's help each other, and then we can learn. And if you want to kind of know anything else in the next sessions, make sure to write a comments so that I can include those topic in the next sessions. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and this will help me motivate me to make more and more content, which will help you to grow and learn, right? I can share all my experiences, and all the people that are following me, their experiences, if they share with me, which usually happens. So I think that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.